Jonathan,
Yeah.
let's talk about tech history.
All right. Today we're covering the week of December 20th to the 26th. First off, we have Apple announces purchase of Next.
The next computer.
Whoa, they merge.
So, you remember we talked about this? Remember we talked about how Steve Jobs got fired from Apple?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
even though he was a founder, um, they ended up hiring the CEO of either Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, one of those CEOs,
Yeah.
and he was he was crafty enough to push Steve Jobs out of Apple. When Apple went public, Steve Jobs no longer owned it. And so they hired this other CEO and basically pushed him out and fired him, or I don't know, made him quit. I forget what it was. But the whole point is that Steve Jobs went and started the next computer or the next computer company, which is Next, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much that rides on this Next because this is also the same machine that Tim Berners-Lee used to create the web server, to create the browser. Remember all that?
Yeah.
So Tim Berners-Lee, went and basically launched the internet. It's what it sounded like, right? He created the web server, he created the browser, created HTML, created CSS. He didn't create JavaScript. He was just doing HTML and CSS. Or one of his coworkers, some guy that worked under him, created CSS, and so yeah, he used the Next operating system because Apple knew that this was going to be a problem. He had followers. He had people that really admired his work. Apple saw this as a huge threat, and so they went and they bought out Next and they said, hey, come back on board. We'll use you as an advisor. We have a new CEO and, we just want you to come back on board and be the advisor. And eventually he ended up being the CEO again of Steve Jobs. I mean, of Apple. Steve Jobs became the CEO of Apple again. But it was quite the journey he had to go through in order to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Make a whole nother company.
Pretty much, yeah. To make himself like known to Apple that like, okay, you guys want to play like this? Let's do it. Let's play.
All right. Next up, we have December 21st, Snow White premieres.
Snow White. What
So the
is
first
this?
full-length animated film. Wow,
This was in 1937, huh?
that is old.
I didn't realize Snow White was that old. I thought when I turned 6 and I got the coloring books, it was a brand new cartoon. Full length animated feature film taking 3 hours and nearly $1.5 million to produce, a massive amount for a feature film in 1937. So what is $1.5 million worth today?
Oh, from in 1937.
Oh, what is 1937? What is 1937?
Inflation calculator.
Where do you see that?
It's the first link.
This one here?
Yeah.
Whoa, how many zeros is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20 million?
20 million. Wow.
So it's $19,207,569 with 44 cents. That is insane. That's
Wow.
crazy. I don't think Shrek even costed that much, did it? But I mean, $1 million, 1.5 million to produce. They've gotten their money's worth with all the
I
like,
know, yeah, with all the re-releases and all that stuff. And I mean, people still watch it.
absolutely every kid that starts to recognize animated films. Yeah. And then they've also have side stories, right? Isn't Maleficent?
Oh yeah, huh. They have a movie about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Maleficent is a side story. It'd be cool to get the side story on Grumpy, Dopey. Um, who's the other ones?
All the seven dwarves.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
All right, next up we have December 22nd, the first electric Christmas tree lights.
What the?
That tree, it just looks like a bush.
I know. Has walnut sized bulbs made specifically for him to wire his Christmas tree with electric lights. The 80 red, white, and blue bulbs formed the first set of electric Christmas lights on in history. Edward Johnson, an associate of Thomas Edison. What a surprise. He's all like, hey, if we can light a whole city, we can light up a Christmas tree.
Before that, they were using wax candles. Holy crap. That sounds dangerous.
Where did it say that?
The last sentence.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Prior to this, people would traditionally decorate their trees with wax candles. That is dangerous because these trees dry up.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine that.
All right, next up, December 23rd, first men to orbit the moon.
Whoa, look at that. Look at that view.
The Earth looks so tiny.
Totally. It's like a marble. And there's like a dark side to the earth too. The only difference is that the moon always has a dark side.
Yeah, we
It's
don't
a,
see the other side of the moon.
we never see it. Yeah, we only see that one side where the earth actually rotates. I wonder if they only see one side of the earth. No, they see both sides, huh?
Yeah.
From the moon. Can you imagine the day that you're able to travel commercially from earth to moon
That'd be cool.
and you're doing some online dating and you know how nowadays you see where I'm going with this. You know today online dating is like, oh, I like to take walk on the beaches and you know nice dinners and all this. Now you're going to start at that point when you can commercially go from the earth to the moon regularly. And it's like, yeah, I'd like to see the earth from the moon, having dinner and sipping on wine, you know.
That'd be a thing, having wine on the moon.
That is a pretty good that's a spectacular view there. I mean, be able it's almost like an out of body experience almost.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, next up, December 24th, Gift Madness.
Burn all gifts. So this is GIF. What does GIF stand for?
I think it's like graphic interface format.
Yeah.
Something
Graphic interface format. That's a sounds like a pretty good guess. Is that for sure, or should I look it up?
I'm 90% sure.
What does GIV stand for? Graphic interchange.
Oh, there we go.
You were pretty close.
Yeah.
90%. I'll give you the 90%, Jonathan. Um, so this was a compression algorithm, which basically over the use of the patent LZW method on the GIF specification. CompuServe was not aware of the patent when it used the LZW technique in 1987, and Unisys was not aware that LZW was used in GIF format until 1993. Wow, that is crazy. So I think LZW was like another form of zip. And so what they were doing is that they were replacing or changing like certain colors to the same color. And since they didn't have to store the same color over several layers, they would like eliminate that layer, I guess is what they would do. And just set some kind of instruction and say, hey, by the way, the next 6 blocks of the file also use this same, but they would just eliminate that and compress the file. I'm thinking, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know zip changes from one format, from one character to another. Like say, for example, you have a space. A space actually takes up more space. Pardon the, what do they call the pun there? A space ends up taking more space than a period. And so what they'll do is they'll replace a period. They'll replace the space with a period, and that compresses the file to some degree. And so there's an algorithm basically with an instruction set of the compression of the file itself. Text files, man, they compress like crazy. So I would imagine GIFs removing some of the color layers and just specifying is like, this color is so close to this other color, just go ahead and replace it with that, and maybe some kind of instruction set. That's cool though, because nobody uses GIFs anymore. What else we got?
Next up, we have December 25th, a virus on Christmas.
Viruses, man, they are a pain in the ass.
The Christmas tree virus.
The Christmas virus began to affect IBM mainframe computers around. Wow, I never knew mainframe computers were susceptible to viruses. Technically defined as a worm, the Christmas virus drew a Christmas tree text graphic on the victim's monitor and searched out other network users named Christma exec because IBM system only supported 8-character file names. It was the world's first widely, because it's only 8 characters long. So there's a file system that was originally created called 8.3. So the file name can only be 8 characters and the extension of the file can only be 3. So they called it 8.3.
Oh.
They removed that limitation, but a lot of Windows systems still honor it by pointing. So you can actually get like, I don't know that they're still doing it. Maybe they stopped doing it. But there used to be a time where you still get the 8.3 format and not the full file format. And so what would happen is that if you had a file that went beyond the 8 characters long, it would truncate 2 and it would start putting tilde1, tilde2, tilde3. So you would actually start losing more characters on that file. But I don't know that they do that anymore, because in the terminal, it just shows you the whole file name now.
Cool. All right. Last but not least, we have December 26th, personal computer man of the year?
So
The man of the year personal computer.
yeah, Time Magazine, man, they've always done some weird stuff, but I guess it wasn't just they couldn't. Okay, so you know how the internet has a bunch of fathers.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's kind of weird in the way that you think it's like, hey, you have a bunch of fathers, you know. But the thing is that a computer also had a bunch of fathers, and so you can't just name one person man of the year because of the computer. Well, you know, like saying
Oh
uh
yeah.
John Smith created the CPU, and so therefore he's the father of the personal computer, where it doesn't really work that way because there was a lot of components out there that had CPUs. Then you have memory, then you have hard drives, you have the motherboard, you have the graphics card, you have the mouse, you got the keyboard. There's so many components. So they kind of honored, in my opinion, they honored all the men that put all this effort into building a PC, and they called the PC man of the year in order to not call out just one person.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Let's see, do they even say that? Or they just like literally called out the computer man of the year? No, it doesn't.
They just chose it.
They just chose that.
Yeah, yeah. No, the most significant force was not a single individual, but a process widespread recognition by a whole society.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There are some occasions, though, when the most significant force in a year's news is not a single individual, but the process and the widespread recognition of the whole society. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I didn't even read this before we talked about it. So I figured I just took a wild guess on it. All right. Cool. That's all we got.
Yeah, that's all we got for this week in tech history.
Excellent. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace out.